This video is for those people who struggle to control negative thoughts in their minds despite their best efforts. If you are one of those people, then make sure to watch this video until the end to fully understand the message. Once upon a time, there was a man who felt really sad and worried all the time. He went to see a wise Zen master, hoping for some help. He told the master, "Sir, my mind is always filled with negative thoughts. No matter how hard I try to get rid of them, they won't leave me alone. Please give me some advice to make my mind calm down." The Zen master listened kindly and then took the man to a nearby pond, where some people were washing their buffaloes. Because of all the movement, the water was muddy and it was not possible to see through it. The master asked the man, "Can you see the bottom of this pond?" The man said, "No, I can't see anything clearly." So the master told the man to go into the pond and try to see the bottom. The man went in, but the more he moved around, the muddier the water became. Even when he put his head underwater, he could not see a thing. Feeling disappointed, the man came out and said, "I can't see anything in water." The Zen master smiled and asked the man to sit beside him. They sat quietly by the pond, and as time passed, people stopped coming to the pond and the water started to calm down. Eventually, the mud settled at the bottom and the water became clear. Then the master stood up and asked the man if he could see the bottom now. This time, the man could see clearly to the bottom of the pond and said, "Yes, sir, now I can see the bottom of the pond clearly, and even I can notice some small fishes swimming around." Then the master explained, "My friend, just like the pond, when you try too hard to push away your bad thoughts, they become even stronger, like the mud getting stirred up. This is the law of reverse effect. When you desperately search for something, it becomes harder to find it. Similarly, when you try too hard to stop your negative thoughts, they actually become stronger. So, instead of fighting against them, just let them be. By not resisting, those thoughts will gradually lose their power over the time and fade away on their own. Therefore, never fight with your mind and try to find peace within yourself by allowing things to naturally fall into place." The man understood that he did not need to fight against his negative thoughts. Instead, he needed to find peace within himself, and eventually, those thoughts would fade away on their own. If we see in the world around us, then we will find that millions of people are suffering from the mental agony of negative thoughts in their mind. And the mistake they often make is trying to fight with their own mind to control negative thoughts. But what if you try not to think of a monkey? Will the thoughts of monkey stop coming to your mind? This probably won't work, because as soon as the images of monkey appears in your mind, it is impossible to get rid of it by consciously not thinking about it. The more you try to get rid of it, the more it persists. The monkey simile is commonly used to show how difficult it is to get rid of intrusive thoughts by force. Here, we see the paradox of willpower, which is the basis of the backward law by philosopher Alan Watts. The backward law proposes that the more we pursue something, the more we achieve the opposite of what we truly want. So if you want to stop thinking about the monkey, then instead of trying to remove the monkey from your thoughts forcefully, let it dissipate by itself by leaving it alone. Just like in this story, the Zen master asked the man to just sit beside him and let the mud settle on its own. Now, how exactly does this backward law work in practice. How can we get what we want without trying to get it? This seems like an impossible and absurd way to operate, especially in a world where we are used to striving and putting effort into getting what we wish. The backward law shows us that the opposite is the case. We feel lacking because of our discontent with current circumstances. The greater our discontent, the more we suffer. For instance, if you feel like you lack wealth and you want to make more money, the more you try to feel wealthy and abundant, the more poor and unworthy you will feel, regardless of how much wealth and money you accumulate. Backward law teaches us not to get attached to the outcome of being wealthy, but just focus on doing the right things and giving your best. Another example of this principle is, suppose you are in water and you can't swim. If you try hard to keep your head up by moving, then you will sink deeper. But if you calm down and stop moving, then you will float by yourself. Similarly, if you like a girl and you beg her to accept your love, you will push her away. She will be more attracted to someone who ignores her or is not interested in her. This philosophy does not make us lazy or inactive, but it teaches us to focus more on the process than the result, and then you will never be discontent again. When we apply this philosophy to our mind, it helps us to control the negative thoughts of our mind. Backward law teaches us that the only way to get what you want is not to want it, because the less you want, the more you will get.